Hey guys, tonight we begin with a story of salt, sweat, and the kind of ambition that only grows in the hearts of men who've been lied to by maps. So before you lean back, take a moment to dim the lights. Maybe pour something that smells faintly of bad decisions and settle in. Because tonight we're sailing with the crew of the Golden Hound, a ship that left port chasing treasure and came home as legend. The year is 1729, an age when the world still had corners worth bleeding for. The Empire of Dominion, imagine Britain after 3 cups of rum and 0 sense of proportion, has just announced a new expedition. Their goal, the rumored Isle of Solace, a speck on the far edge of every chart, said to glitter with rivers of gold and relics of the lost Sun Kings. Enter Captain Finch, a man with cheekbones you could cut rope on and a faith in fortune bordering on religion. He's joined by the Dr. Harrow, the ship's natural philosopher, Boatswain Briggs, who could swear an entire sermon in one breath, and you, the chronicler, the poor fool tasked with writing down whatever miracles or mistakes happen next. The docks smell of tar, smoke, and optimism. Sailors shout, crates crash, and gulls circle above like unpaid auditors. Finch stands at the gangway, coat flapping in the wind, and declares, "Gentlemen, the sea owes us a debt, and tonight we collect." You nod along, pretending to share his confidence, though you've already seen too many voyages begin with speeches and end with skeletons. The King Golden Hound creaks under the weight of its ambition. 40 men, enough gunpowder to rewrite diplomacy, and a chest of maps copied so often they've started contradicting each other. The sails rise like cathedral walls. Someone starts a song, someone else vomits into the harbor. And with that perfect summary of human balance, the ship slides into the gray. At first it's glorious. The wind favors you, the food is almost edible, and Finch holds daily briefings about the treasure waiting beyond the horizon. He paints the Isle of Solace as paradise, a garden of gold-veined cliffs, rivers that shine at night, and temples humming with the breath of forgotten gods. The crew listens, eyes wide, stomachs louder. You record everything, your quill scratching over the logbook as though truth could protect you. Harrow warns that myth makes poor cartography, but Finch waves him off. Every empire begins as rumor, he says, which sounds impressive until you realize it doesn't mean anything. By the 3rd week, the romance fades. Salt crusts every surface, biscuits grow new ecosystems, and the ocean stops pretending to like you. Men whisper about phantom lights, shapes moving beneath the hull. Finch calls it nonsense. The sea always invents stories to keep small minds busy. Yet even he starts checking the water with unease. Then one morning the lookout shouts, a glimmer on the horizon, green and gold against the endless blue. The Isle of Solace. The island appears first as a rumor of color. After weeks of gray, the green is almost violent. Palm crowns catch the sun and throw it back in blinding shards. The air smells different. Alive, humid, full of possibilities you probably shouldn't trust. The men cheer. Finch merely nods as though he'd expected the world to reward him. He calls for the longboats. Harrow insists on cataloging the coastline before anyone steps ashore. Finch insists on being the first footprint in paradise. Guess which one wins? As you draw closer, you see a thin column of smoke rising from the interior. Briggs says it's a sign of natives. Finch says it's a sign of supper. Either way, you row faster. The beach greets you like an open mouth. White sand, black rock, trees heavy with fruit that looks half-painted. Birds scream overhead, bright as jewels and just as useless. When your boots hit the sand, it gives a sigh as though relieved to finally have company. Finch plants the Dominion flag because nothing says diplomacy like claiming someone else's home. Then he turns to the men and announces, "Gentlemen, welcome to wealth incarnate." A cheer rises. Even Harrow smiles briefly before he remembers to be rational. You spend the first days cataloging. Harrow sketches flowers that bleed blue sap. Briggs measures the tides. You record the humidity, the insects, the way the island seems to watch when you write its name. At night, the jungle glows faintly, veins of light pulsing through roots and stones like the earth itself has a heartbeat. Finch calls it proof of mineral wealth. Harrow calls it bioluminescence. You call it unsettling. The locals arrive on the fourth morning. They come silently, stepping out of the trees as if the leaves had decided to become human. Skin copper gold, eyes bright, laughter quick. Their leader, a tall man with a necklace of shells and small hammered discs of metal, raises a hand in greeting. Finch greets him with the universal language of empire. Gifts. Beads, cloth, a mirror. The man touches the mirror, stares into it, then laughs so hard he nearly falls over. It's the sound of someone who knows exactly what kind of fools have landed on his shore. Communication is a dance of gestures and guesses. When the locals see the ship's nails, their interest sharpens. They trade fruit and ornaments for a few small pieces of iron. Harrow notes it in his journal. They value metal above jewels, possible sign of scarcity or ritual use. Finch notes something else entirely. Profit margin. By evening, the camp is a carnival. Fires crackle, drums thump somewhere beyond the tree line, and the air tastes like roasted fruit and moral hazard. The sailors laugh louder than they should. Finch gives a speech about mutual friendship, trade, and the shared destiny of enlightened peoples, which everyone pretends to understand. You sit apart writing, watching the gold discs around the leader's neck catch the firelight. They're old, older than the village, carved with symbols that look suspiciously like maps. Harrow crouches beside you. "See that pattern?" he whispers. "River delta, maybe, or veins." "Veins of what?" you ask. He smiles thinly. "Let's hope not what I think." The next morning, Finch orders a scouting party inland. You follow the path of smoke you'd seen on arrival. The jungle closes around you, heat thick as syrup, insects loud enough to be personal. Roots twist over half-buried statues. Faces worn smooth by centuries stare from the earth, mouths open as if still whispering. Then you see it. A cliff split open by some ancient violence, revealing a seam of gold that runs like lightning through the stone. Sunlight hits it and the world goes quiet, mutters, or extinct. You write both. That night back on the beach, Finch calls for celebration. He orders guards on the supply chests, forbids unsupervised trading, and then promptly ignores his own rules. The islanders dance, the sailors try to keep up, and for a few hours the expedition forgets caution. The drums pulse faster. The jungle hums. Somewhere unseen, something begins to wake. Got it, we'll blend both. The curse will feel psychological at first, and then tilt unmistakably supernatural as the expedition unravels. The next few days melt together like gold in a crucible. Nobody sleeps properly anymore. The mine hums at night. The sea hums back. The men start hearing things, nothing dramatic at first, just whispers that sound like their own thoughts echoing a half-second late. Briggs swears he saw someone digging alone at the cliff, though every man was accounted for. Finch brushes it off. You're hearing your conscience, boatswain. Don't worry, it's a temporary condition. But even Finch is changing. He used to stride the camp like a sermon. Now he moves slower, as if listening for something beneath the earth. His eyes have taken on a faint gleam, the same as the oar. Harrow keeps his notes obsessively, pages full of sketches that no longer resemble botany or geology but anatomy. Veins branching into maps, roots shaped like rib cages. He tells you he's charting how far the gold runs beneath the island. You're not sure whether he means physically or metaphorically. One night he shows you a lump of ore split open down the middle. Inside is a fossil of something almost human, a face, half-formed, as if the metal had been practicing. Mineral growth, he says, voice trembling. You don't argue. The weather turns. Hot winds blow from the interior, thick with ash that smells like iron. The jungle begins to shed its leaves, though no storm comes. The soil glittering in the moonlight looks almost beautiful until you realize it's powdered gold. Then the dreams begin. Each man dreams of the same thing, standing before a mirror that isn't glass, but molten gold reflecting not themselves but something older wearing their faces. In the morning, their eyes shine faintly. Finch decides to move the treasure to the ship. He says it's for safekeeping, but you can hear the desperation in his voice. The men drag crates of ore to the longboats, muttering prayers that don't belong to any church you know. When the last crate leaves the shore, the island goes silent. No wind, no birds. Just the rhythmic creak of oars and something vast turning beneath the water. That night, aboard the Golden Hound, the sea glows gold beneath the hull. Fish float belly up, scales flashing like coins. Finch orders everyone below deck and locks the hold. Let the island have its tantrum, he says. We have what we came for. But the humming doesn't stop. It moves through the wood of the ship like a heartbeat. By dawn, 2 men are missing. One vanished from his bunk. The other was last seen standing at the rail, whispering to the waves. Harrow finds a trail of golden dust leading from the deck back toward the island, glowing faintly before fading into nothing. He turns to you, eyes hollow. The gold's not leaving, he says. It's spreading. Finch laughs, a sound that doesn't belong in a human throat anymore. Then perhaps, he says, we were meant to be its vessel. The crew fractures. Half want to dump the ore overboard. Half would sooner die than lose it. Briggs tries to take command, but Finch's authority has hardened into something supernatural. When he speaks, the men obey. When he touches the railing, it shivers. That night, the idol returns. It's sitting in the center of the deck as if it never left. Its eyes, once stone, are open now, black glass reflecting the stars. Finch kneels before it. No one stops him. Harrow grabs your arm. "We have to burn the ship," he hisses. "It's not ours anymore." But the torches refuse to catch. The flame bends away from the hull like it's afraid. Below deck, the gold hums louder, a lullaby in a language that sounds like greed. When dawn breaks, the island is gone. Only open sea stretches where paradise once stood. The compass spins without reason. Finch stands at the prow, smiling into the light. "Gentlemen," he says, "we've crossed into history." You don't tell him that history's already closing its book. "Sure. Here's the next installment, kept in the same cinematic, eerie tone." For 3 days, the Golden Hound drifts without a heading. The sea is flat as metal. The sails hang limp, waiting for wind that never comes. Finch insists the island has simply moved. He tells the men that fortune itself is steering them home. No one believes him anymore. But belief has stopped being a requirement. Harrow stays below, sealing what's left of the samples in wax jars. He mutters to himself about infection, about the way the ore breathes in closed spaces. Each time he opens a crate, the humming grows louder. At night, you hear it through the planks, slow, rhythmic, almost like chanting. The timbers of the ship feel warm, as though something inside is alive. On the 4th morning, a breeze finally rises. The sails snap full, and the Hound lurches forward with a speed that feels unnatural. Briggs claims he never trimmed the rigging. Finch only smiles. The sea knows her master. But the wake glows faintly gold behind them. Fish follow, gliding through the shimmer. When the sun sets, they scatter, leaving behind shapes that keep following, except in murmurs that mimic the hum of the gold. 2 of them carve little tokens from the ore, wear them around their necks, and stand watch without orders. They don't blink anymore. You try to write, but the ink refuses to dry on the page, as if the paper itself resists remembering. Harrow appears one night with a pistol and a plan. Throw the gold overboard, lock Finch in his cabin, turn back by the stars. But when you reach the hold, the crates are gone. The entire floor glistens with molten metal, running between the boards like veins. The humming rises until you taste it in your teeth. Finch's voice echoes down the stairwell. "Why fight it? We've already been chosen." You look up. He's standing at the top of the ladder, barefooted, eyes burning faintly gold. Behind him, the idol looms, taller now, the wood of the ship bending to its shape. The storm comes that night. Black clouds, lightning that flashes gold instead of white. The mast splits. Briggs goes overboard without a sound. The sea turns to glass for one impossible heartbeat, and you see the reflection of the Hound upside down beneath the water. Another ship sailing the same course, crewed by shadows. Harrow shouts that it's the gold pulling them under, that they have to cut the hull open and let it bleed. You try. The axes glance off as if the planks are stone. Then from somewhere deep below, a crack. The deck trembles. Light bursts through the seams, flooding everything with molten color. Finch laughs, triumphant, delirious. "This is it. The crossing." The ship rises, not forward but upward, as if gravity itself has lost interest. The stars twist. The horizon folds in on itself. And then silence. When sound returns, there's no sea, only mist. The golden hound drifts through a fog that glows from within. The compass points straight down. Finch stands at the bow, hair and coat moving as though an unseen wind, whispering names you've never heard. Harrow clutches your arm. "If we ever reach shore again," he says, "we burn every trace of this. Promise me." You nod, though you both know promises don't survive long out here. By the time the fog thins, the golden hound no longer creaks like wood. Every plank sounds hollow, as if the ship were remembering itself rather than existing. The sails hang in tatters of gold thread, light without fabric. The sea beneath them looks more like polished metal than water. 3 days, maybe more, pass before anything changes. Then a coastline appears, slow and deliberate, like an image emerging in wet paper. Mountains shimmer behind the haze. A harbor lies ahead, full of masts, but none move. Finch stands at the prow, lips parted. "The new world," he whispers, "come to greet its founders." No one answers. The crew are shadows of themselves, eyes sunken, skin tinted faintly bronze. As the hound drifts closer, you realize the harbor is not a harbor at all. It is the skeleton of one, piers warped, ships embedded in the shallows, all gilded over by a thin layer of ore. Every rope, every nail turned to gold, a still life of greed frozen mid-breath. Harrow grips the rail. "They've been here before," he mutters. "Maybe centuries ago." Finch doesn't hear him or pretends not to. He orders the longboat lowered, though the pulley wheels no longer turn. They gleam solid, so the crew climbs down on the ropes themselves, boots scraping sparks from the hull. On shore, the air feels heavy, like the inside of a bell after it's rung. Footprints sink into dust that looks like sand until you touch it. Powdered metal, fine as flour. There are shapes in the ruins, statues maybe, but too precise. A sailor brushes one with his hand and recoils. It's a man. Or it was. Every figure in the city is perfectly cast in gold. Mid-motion, turning, reaching, running. Faces caught between awe and terror. Finch walks among them like a priest through relics. "Behold," he says softly, "immortality." Harrow spits into the dust. "Immortality's got a smell, and it's rot." You follow the main street toward what looks like a temple. The doors have fused shut, the carvings half melted. But inside, through a gap, you see something glowing, an altar, and on it a sphere pulsing faintly. The same hum fills your chest again, the same hum that started it all. Finch presses his hand to the crack. "The heart," he murmurs. "The island's heart. It called to us." Harrow draws his pistol. "No, it followed us. It built this." He fires. The shot echoes like thunder, and the bullet ricochets into the fog. For a heartbeat, the hum stops. Then it returns, louder, joined by a chorus as if every statue has begun to sing. The city starts to move. Not fast, just enough for the golden faces to shift toward you. Eyes open where none should. Hands flex. The ground ripples, metal flowing like tide water. Finch laughs almost gently. "Do you see? We're part of the pattern now." You run. The crew scatters through alleys that close behind them. Streets folding into new shapes. Harrow drags you toward the shore. Behind you, Finch's voice fades into the chorus, swallowed by it. When you reach the water, the hound is already sinking, melting from the keel upward. The masts droop like wax candles. Only the figurehead remains, gleaming bright as a star. You and Harrow push a skiff into the water and row, each stroke pulling you through a mirror. Behind, the city dissolves into light. Ahead, only mist. You row until your arms fail. Then the fog begins to clear once more and the world looks almost normal again. Blue sky, gray sea, the shape of a coastline you think you recognize. Home, perhaps. But as the sun rises, it catches on something along the cliffs. A glint, a thin thread of gold running through the rock like a vein. Harrow stares at it, then at you. Tell me we left it behind. You want to answer. You really do. But beneath the sound of the waves, the faintest hum begins again, steady as a heartbeat. Here's the next chapter in the same darkly cinematic tone. When the skiff finally hits sand, it feels unreal, like docking in a dream that doesn't know it's ended. The surf is cold, honest water this time. It bites at your skin instead of humming through it. For a long while, you and Harrow just sit, listening to the wind move through grass instead of gold. No sound from the sea except the slow crash of waves. No ship, no city, only the dull ache of memory. A village lies a mile inland, quiet beneath slate-colored hills. You walk there at dusk, carrying nothing but a compass that no longer turns. The streets look familiar, stone houses, lanterns, dogs barking somewhere behind a fence. Yet every wall bears veins of metal, thin as cobwebs, glinting faintly when the light hits. It's in the stones, the door latches, even the children's toys. Harrow stops to stare at one of the veins running up a lamppost. It's spreading, he says. You shake your head, but the words taste false even before you speak. At the tavern, you trade your story for silence. No one laughs. A few men glance at the compass on the table, whisper to each other, and leave. By morning, rumor has already turned you into myth. 2 sailors from a ship of gold. Weeks pass. You try to live quietly, repairing nets, taking odd work at the docks, but wherever you go, the hum follows. It hides beneath ordinary sounds, the clink of coins, the ring of a blacksmith's hammer, the echo of church bells. Sometimes you catch people pausing mid-conversation, eyes unfocused, heads tilted as though listening. One night, Harrow bursts into your room, face gray. He's found a trinket at the market, a child selling a coin that looks freshly minted, too pure. The edge bears the mark of the golden hound. You melt it over the hearth. It runs like blood, bright and eager. The hum swells until the windows rattle. When it cools, the metal reforms, perfect again. You leave the village before dawn, traveling inland where the rivers cut through rock. But the gold is there too, seeping through the cliffs, catching the sunrise in thin, restless lines. It's not just following, it's growing. Harrow keeps journals, sketching maps, patterns, everything he can record before sleep claims him. You notice his handwriting changing, rounder, smoother, as if someone else is guiding his hand. One morning he doesn't wake. His skin gleams faintly in the light. When you touch his wrist, it's cold and hard. You bury him beneath an oak whose roots already glitter. You make for the capital after that. hoping for reason, scientists, priests, anyone. But the same veins lace the cobbles there, creeping up monuments and fountains. Gold has become a blessing now. People dig for it, wear it, pray to it. No one sees it as infection. They call it prosperity. You stand in the crowd watching merchants hawk their wares, rings, buttons, tiny idols. All of it the same impossible hue. The hum underlies the market chatter like a second heartbeat. A preacher on the steps of the cathedral raises his arms. "Behold," he cries, "the gifts of the new dawn." The earth herself has turned to treasure. The crowd cheers. You hear Finch's voice in every echo. "Behold, immortality." You turn away before the tears reach your eyes. That night you climb the bell tower, notebook in hand. The city stretches below, lanterns, smoke, and a faint golden shimmer that pulses in time with the tide. You write until your fingers ache, the voyage, the island, the curse, Harrow, the loss. Then you close the book and wrap it in sailcloth. You leave it on the tower's ledge, hoping someone will find it when it's safe to know. When the dawn comes, you're already walking east toward the mountains. Somewhere ahead there must be ground still untouched, earth that remembers being simple. Behind you, the first bell rings. The sound carries a metallic overtone, rich and bright. The people below cheer again. They think it's progress. You keep walking because you know better. The hum is spreading, and it has learned your name. Here's the next chapter, steady in the same cinematic tone. Years slip past like water through cupped hands. The world grows louder, shinier. Nations rise on veins of gold they never mined. Churches cast new altars from divine ore. Coins bear the same faint symbol, the hound's head, jaws open. You stop trying to tell the story. No one listens. They only ask if you brought any of the gold with you. You wander from port to port until you reach a place where the sea still smells like salt instead of metal. An old schooner sits half-rotten at the end of the pier. The owner laughs when you offer your labor. "She won't cross half an ocean," he says. You smile. "She doesn't have to." You name the vessel Mercy, though the word feels thin in your mouth. For months you refit her, planks, rigging, compass, but always with wood and iron, never gold. The villagers think you're superstitious. They're right. When the last nail is driven, you feel something you haven't in years. Silence. The hum is weaker here, distant like a memory fading in another room. You set sail alone. The sea greets you like an old angry friend. Gray, cold, unpredictable. Storms roll out of nowhere, but you welcome them. You chart by the stars, by the same constellations that once guided the Golden Hound. Each night you whisper their names like apologies. Weeks pass before you see it, the shimmer on the horizon. The island, still there, still green, still waiting. You drop anchor in the bay where it all began. No sound of drums now, no laughter. The beach is empty except for shells that glint faintly gold. You step ashore carrying only a lantern and Harrow's journal. The jungle has grown thicker, but the paths remember your feet. At the clearing's heart, where the temple once stood, lies a crater filled with molten light. The hum returns, soft and familiar. You kneel at the edge, the heat brushing your face. From the pack you draw a single object, the compass that never turned. Its needle now points straight into the glow. You whisper a prayer you don't believe and drop it in. The light flares just once and the hum stops. The air feels hollow, lighter. You think maybe, for a heartbeat, that it's over. Then the earth shifts beneath you. The glow doesn't fade. It spreads. Lines of gold race through the soil, branching like roots reaching for the sea. It's not dying. It's waking up. You run for the beach as the forest ignites. Not with flame, but with light. Trees turn to metal statues of themselves. Birds crystallize mid-flight. By the time you reach the Mercy, the water around her is already glimmering. You pull the anchor, catch the wind, and sail hard into open ocean. Behind you, the island sinks. Slowly, deliberately, as if choosing to sleep. The horizon swallows it whole. You keep sailing. Days later, the hum fades again. But this time it doesn't vanish. It's inside you now, faint but steady, beating in rhythm with your heart. Maybe it always was. When the stars rise, you open Harrow's journal and add one last line beneath his final sketch. The sea forgives nothing, but it remembers everything. You close the book, tie it to a weight, and let it slip into the dark. The water swallows it without a sound. The wind shifts. The compass on the table twitches just once and then stills. You smile. For the first time in years, you don't feel the need to look back. The horizon glows faintly ahead, not gold but dawn. You set your course toward it.